Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a biological case study that is, well, it's an absolute classic. We're going to be tracking the fascinating journey of a single tiny caterpillar to uncover how proper natural nutrition is literally the ultimate catalyst for growth. We're going to explore why healthy eating isn't just about, surviving the day. It's about unlocking profound, almost unimaginable physical transformation. There is a massive gap between merely eating to stay alive and eating to metamorphose. So if you've ever wondered how our deepest biological potential is inextricably linked to the specific nutrients we consume, you are absolutely in the right place. Let's get right into it.
But before we track our tiny friend's journey, we've got to ask a pretty crucial question. Can eating the wrong foods actually stop you from growing? Just think about what happens when an immense biological drive to eat meets entirely the wrong fuel. When a developing organism is starved of the specific nutrients it needs, it'll often enter a state of hyperphagia. That's basically an extreme, insatiable drive to consume absolutely anything in a desperate attempt to find those missing building blocks. As we'll see, filling the stomach to stop a hunger pang and actually fueling the cellular growth of a body are two very, very different things.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, a very hungry beginning.
Picture this. It's a warm Sunday morning, the sun pops up, and literally with a pop, out comes a tiny caterpillar. But he isn't just tiny. The source material specifically notes that he is very hungry. I mean, his primary, hardwired objective from the absolute second he hatches is to find and consume food. And this intense drive is perfectly natural. Just like a growing human infant or a kid hitting a huge growth spurt, he needs massive amounts of immediate caloric fuel for his rapid early-stage development. He is basically a biological machine primed for intake, and the clock is ticking.
Moving right along to Section 2, the escalating fruit diet. Let's look at his diet during a standard work week. It is just a crazy mathematical escalation of consumption. On Monday, he manages to eat through 1 apple. On Tuesday, he doubles that to 2 pears. By Wednesday, it's 3 plums. Thursday, 4 strawberries. And by Friday, he's eating through 5 entire oranges. What we're observing here is a linear, escalating intake of natural sugars. He is desperately increasing his food volume day by day, trying to satisfy a biological imperative that just isn't being met by this specific type of food.
And that brings us to this iconic, recurring refrain at the end of every single day of that week. But he was still hungry. Despite the massive and increasing volume of fruit he's shoveling into his digestive system, this diet clearly lacks the specific, satiating nutrients a caterpillar biologically needs to build new tissue. The simple carbs and natural sugars in the fruit are really just giving him a quick, short-term burst of energy he just uses to keep eating. But they're leaving him endlessly, deeply hungry for real, structural growth material. He's totally missing the complex fibers and essential proteins necessary for actual cellular development.
Which brings us to Section 3, the Saturday junk food binge.
Driven completely mad by this unmet hunger, our subject hits a dramatic breaking point. He completely abandons the fruit and pivots straight to highly processed human foods. Honestly, it's practically a masterclass in what not to feed a growing body. He rapidly consumes an astonishing 10 items in a single day. We're talking a chaotic combo here. A slice of salami right next to a lollipop, followed by cherry pie, a sausage, and a cupcake. It's an absurd menu. It's completely disconnected from what his body is evolutionarily built to digest. But it perfectly mirrors the human tendency to binge on a highly processed junk food when our bodies are actually craving real, micronutrient-dense sustenance.
Now, for Section 4, consequences of poor diet.
Look, the crucial point here is that eating for sheer volume rather than specific nutrition has immediate, severe physiological consequences. You absolutely cannot cheat biology by just stuffing your system full of empty calories. The inevitable result of eating this immense quantity of inappropriate, highly processed junk food is exactly one massive stomachache that Saturday night. His body is forcefully rejecting the mismatched fuel. He took in massive amounts of physical matter, heavy, complex, totally unnatural items, but none of the actual nutrition needed to foster his growth. So the biological machine has effectively stalled.
All right, on to Section 5, the healthy green remedy.
Thankfully, our subject's turning point arrives the very next day. It's Sunday again, exactly 1 week since he hatched, and he finally, instinctively, seeks out a natural, biological cure. This brilliantly illustrates the contrast of our entire explainer. On one hand, you have a disastrous, chaotic binge of 10 random, heavy, processed items that caused acute distress. On the other hand, his Sunday diet, just one nice green leaf. He eats through this single, species-appropriate piece of vegetation. And you know what? The source tells us he felt much better. More importantly, because that single leaf had incredible bioavailability and the exact micronutrient density he required, he finally cured his hunger.
Which leads us to our final act, Section 6, True Growth and Metamorphosis.
This is where the real biological magic kicks in. Once he consumes the right fuel, the exact nutrition his species requires, we witness immediate and massive biological success. He wasn't hungry anymore, and suddenly he wasn't a little caterpillar anymore either. Because he finally fed his body the nutrient-dense, natural food it required, he achieved his peak physical growth. He became a big, fat caterpillar. Now, to be clear, this wasn't the inflammatory bloating of a Saturday junk food binge. This was genuine, structural biological growth fueled by proper eating. He successfully built the reserves necessary for his next phase.
So think about this for a second. What actually happens when you finally feed your body what it truly needs? Because the answer isn't just about getting bigger. It's not just about surviving the day without a stomachache. It's about unlocking the latent cellular energy required for a complete, astonishing physical transformation. When the structural foundation is properly laid through healthy nutrition, the biological possibilities are practically limitless. Let's break down his incredible final phase here. That healthy leaf didn't just fill his stomach, it directly powered his biological destiny. With that proper nutrition stored in his system, he was able to build a small house called a cocoon around himself. He had the sustained metabolic energy to stay inside for more than 2 weeks, completely breaking down and reconstructing his biology at a cellular level, before finally nibbling a hole, pushing his way out, and emerging as a beautiful butterfly. I mean, none of this cellular reconstruction would have been possible on a diet of salami and lollipops. No way.
This classic case study brilliantly proves a fundamental biological truth. While eating anything, like a slice of cherry pie or an ice cream cone, might stop a stomach from growling temporarily, it will eventually make you sick. It fills the void but offers absolutely nothing to the cells. Only proper, healthy eating provides the actual structural building blocks for true growth, for cellular healing, and for ultimately reaching your highest physical form. Surviving is about volume. Thriving is entirely about nutritional quality.
I'm going to leave you to ponder this as we wrap up our explainer today. If a single proper green leaf can literally turn a crawling caterpillar into a soaring butterfly, what is the green leaf your own body is waiting for? What's the missing structural nutrient keeping you from your own peak performance? Are you just filling up on Saturday's junk food to desperately get through the day, or are you truly fueling your own transformation with exactly what your body needs to grow?